trailer for The Little Mermaid is generating extraordinary reaction, especially among Black girls.
Oh, she's black! Oh, that's a black mermaid! She's like me!
Many of them are mesmerized watching a cherished fairy tale character who looks just like them. 22-year-old actress Halle Bailey stars as Ariel in Disney's new live-action film, and she looks nothing like the animated Little Mermaid with red hair from the original 1989 classic.
Wish I could
just
be
say white. Red
red
hair in the thing.
Parents have been posting these charming videos to social media, many saying how important it is that their daughters see themselves reflected on the big screen. An extraordinary 104 million people have viewed the sneak peek. But apparently not everyone is happy to see a black Little Mermaid. Hard to believe, but the trailer has received more than 1.5 million dislikes on YouTube. Then there are the ugly, racist tweets. The Little Mermaid is white, not black.
What people have to understand is that
This is
a beautiful opportunity for young people to see themselves in a situation and in a way in which they have not before.
Halle Bailey says she's not focusing on the hate. I'm so grateful for what it will do for all the other little black and brown boys and girls who will see themselves in me.
She's brown!
And all she has to do is look at the excitement of the little girls embracing her.
She's black!
Okay, so you saw that, and I'm gonna first break down that video that we just watched, and then I'm gonna give you my commentary. First, before all of that, I want to say when this first came out, I literally could not give a flying shit. I did not care about this at all. You know, I did it like okay, whatever, and I just continued, right? Okay, that's cute, and just continued. And I thought that would be it. And the fact that this story keeps going and blowing up and it went viral and is getting bigger and bigger and bigger is redunculous. Because on either side of the coin, this is the most first world problem bullshit I've ever seen. But because it won't die, it hasn't gone anywhere, I decided to go ahead, jump on here, and give you my opinion. So first, let's break down the video. It's weird how the reporter describing the original mermaid as someone with red hair instead of just saying like the original mermaid was white, because I believe Halle Berry has red hair in the new mermaid. So that's not really the distinction. It's weird how they didn't make the racial distinction when they were talking about the original mermaid, but made the racial distinction when they were talking about racism. I just thought that was kind of funny. Look, the little collage compilation they showed of the little sweet little black innocent girls who was in awe that Little Mermaid was black or brown or looks like them, on a surface, yeah, it's cute. And if they genuinely feel that way and it genuinely makes them happy, I am so happy for them. I would rather them be looking up to this than a Kim Kardashian or a Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. So I'm not that mad at it. However, we know how these things go. This is most likely prompted by their parents themselves. Just like when we see women take videos of their little girls with pussy hats and feminist signs, or we see parents take videos of their children wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts or signs that says, I can't breathe. This is just parents using their kids as a tool to make some sort of statement. I'm not saying that the kids genuinely weren't happy, but most small children don't care about race unless they're prompted to care about race, because that's just not how they're born. So usually race becomes a factor into their lives at that age because someone in their life, someone in their community, someone in their household, someone in their circles introduced them to the fact that race mattered.
Children don't see race until you and I show it to them.
So I could be wrong, and this is just my assumption, but it feels like what happened was they showed the clip to the little girls, and the mothers went, hey, do you notice anything? Can you tell me what you noticed? Say it to the camera. Look surprised. That's kind of what that feels like. It's all fake the funk, right? But again, if it truly makes those little girls happy, I am glad they are happy. I don't want to take that away from them. But it is sad at that age that they have been taught that race is that important to their identity instead of the content of their character, instead of all the other nuances and layers that make them who they are. That being black is so important to you that you should almost break down in tears at the sight of seeing a white mermaid that was then painted brown to pander to your community. The fact that the reporter even said, this is so important for these girls. Why is it so important to have a mythical, logical creature, a fairy tale, a fantasy, be race swapped? That is a sad statement to make about those little girls. The race, the color of their skin should be the least of their issues or the least of their identity. Because there's so much more to a person to the color of their fucking skin. And the idea of representation, I get that. I understand that. But we're pretending like there's never been characters of color in animations or kids movies or kid TV shows. There's been tons. There's probably been hundreds at this point, if not thousands. But we're sitting here pretending that this is the first time. This is never happened before. This has gone down in history. There's plenty of representation when it comes to kid TV shows or animation. So it's not about representation. That's the wrong word to use. And when it comes to representation, the black community is the minority in America. And that's not a dig. That's not a word. That's not a derogatory term. We are the minority. What is it, 16, 18%? You're not supposed to have 50-50 representation. The representation is supposed to reflect the amount of that group of people that takes up the population. So you're getting representation. At least in the media, Hollywood, the media was the first ones to jump on board when it comes to diversifying commercials and TVs and movies and all those things. It's 2022. Stop pretending your little black girl never saw herself in an animation or a children's movie. Any other thing. I think it's a little bit pathetic that the black community is literally crying and celebrating Hollywood for doing the most laziest fucking thing to once again pander to the black community by race swapping. They didn't come up with anything original. They didn't even have to use their creativity. They didn't rewrite a script. They gave you leftovers. They put something in a fucking Disney oven, warmed it up, and said, here you go. And you're all like, oh my God, thank you so much. We needed this. This is so important. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like, really? They gave you fucking leftovers by race swapping, and you are sitting there giving them a standing fucking ovation and giving them all the yes queens and brownie points when they did the least amount of effort for you.
My stance on this is the same one I had when we talked about this 3 years ago, which is I'm not mad at the idea of representation. I'm not mad at the idea that it's kind of cool to have Disney characters of all races, walks of life. I just don't like it when it's forced. And I think it's kind of corny to take fairy tales of one race and then just switch them when they have such a not historical, but like there's already a history built with the fans and the viewers and how they view it. It's the same way, like, if I read Harry Potter, and Harry Potter's always been described as a white dude with freckles and a fucking scar on his face and all this stuff, and you change the race for the live adaptation, I'm gonna look at you funny.
It came off as, like, pathetic to me. That we're so thirsty for validation that we will jump up in glee for the slightest attempt and effort to please us. It took no effort from them just to race swap. Why didn't they just come up with the original mermaid? A different movie with a black mermaid.
I prefer it if you want to create this whole idea of representation to just create stories that have black bases as characters, right? Nobody got mad when they looked at the Black Panther stuff and they saw nothing but black folks. Nobody got mad when they did a bunch of other live action movies and had black people as leads, because that's how the stories were originally written. And it doesn't have to be stereotypically black either. They could be characters who happen to be black, and it's not because like they speak with Ebonics or whatever. They can just be regular too. So I'm not against that.
Money grab on their part. They don't give a fuck about your fucking skin color or your goddamn race. They pandered. You can give out your heart on cash, which is fine. That's capitalism for you. But don't pretend that they actually cared. Because again, they could have came up with an original Black Mermaid and they didn't.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really like movies as much. I definitely don't like movies as much as I used to. And same for TV. It's too much of this like forced bullshit to just try to sell everything. Let's include a storyline about race. Let's include, you know what? Why don't you just make a story about a black character who doesn't have to revolve around the fact that they're black? Those are great too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in having all this stuff forced. Everything was just virtue signaling. Everything was just like, all right, this storyline and the way that white people view black Americans and the way that black and like trying to represent something symbolically rather than real organic storytelling. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm seeing more and more in movie where it's just like, how can we hit those political brownie points rather than telling a really well-developed story?
To give any effort to you because you just told them over and over again, just like you tell the Democratic Party every fucking year, you don't really have to try with us. You can give us the least amount of effort and we'll still vote for you. You can give us the least amount of effort and we'll give you all the round of applause and thank you masters. They race swapped. Big whoop. But again, it's a cute movie. And if I was a mom, I would take my kid to see that movie because kids like movies like that. Why not? But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't mention the fact that she's black because I wouldn't want my child to ever think that that is something that should be that important to you where you're literally almost breaking down in tears at the sight of it. I would want my child to have way more integrity and way more internal value than that. You know what internal value is? It means your value, your self-worth, your self-love, and your self-confidence comes in internally, not externally, right? I grew up in a very pro-black, anti-white family. I grew up with this rhetoric my entire life, so I know how it works and I know what it's rooted in. And so I grew up in a family that told me all day, every day that the world hates you, that they don't think you're beautiful. That's why you never see black women on billboards or covers of magazines. That's why you never see black women in the lead role as a romantic interest. And this was back in the day. This was when there was less representation. And even though I disagree with a lot of my family's rhetoric and ideology, the one thing I can say I got from it is they said, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the outside world tells you. It doesn't matter what Hollywood tells you or the magazines tell you or the billboards tell you. Your worth comes internal. It comes from within. So the fact that you're telling little black girls that it's so important that you externally get your validation is harmful. That's not something to be celebrated or applauded. Again, there's nothing wrong with representation. I'm not saying I'm against representation, but the fact that in 2022, it is made to seem like it is literally life or death for these people to have it is ridiculous. Here's my criticism for the other side. I know this video is really fucking long, but here's my criticism for the other side. It's a fucking kids film. Get the fuck over it. And I think that people who might identify as conservative, Republican, traditionalists, you have to start to understand optics, right? It doesn't matter why people dislike the video. It just matters what the perception of the reason why people dislike the video. And you have to ask yourself why the Republicans have lost the culture war for so many years. Because Democrats and liberals have been better at understanding emotional reactions than Republicans. So, the 1.5 million dislikes is all the ammo that the mainstream narrative now needs to have, along with pictures like this that went viral to go, see, told you we live in a racist America. You have to fucking understand optics. It's like the same people who ran into the fucking Capitol building. Yes, you have a right to be upset. Yes, you have a right to be annoyed. Yes, you have a right to voice your frustration. But you have to understand optics. Because if you're not aware, if you're not in these circles, if you don't realize that most likely the majority of people who dislike that video is just sick of the wokeness and kind of sick of the patterns that they've seen. And this is their way of saying, stop it, we don't want any more of this. No, but if you're not in that know, most normie people are going to look at that and go, racist. And why wouldn't they? Because that's what the optics look like. If I didn't know this, I would look at that and go, well, why does it have so many dislikes? What's wrong with Halle Berry? She has a good voice. She's a good singer. Most people are going to look at that and go, racist. So everybody who disliked that video, all you did is take a box, you packed it with ammo, and you headed it to the mainstream narrative to continue the narrative that people live in a racist America. I've been seeing this happen more and more and more. With any movie now, any film that has a female lead or a black lead, it's woke, it's woke, it's woke. without you even knowing the concept of the fucking movie or show. People are calling the House of Dragon woke because the lead was female. It's woke. She's a strong female. No, it's woke. I can't watch it. No. You guys need to stop because you're going a little bit too fucking crazy. It's a fucking kids film. Get over it. First world problems. I get the frustration, but you have to understand optics. It doesn't look good. That's just it. It doesn't look good. If you don't like it, you speak with your dollars. Don't go watch it. Don't stream it. Don't download it. And then other movies that you want to show, Hollywood you want, you go watch those films and you give it your money. Like that new rock superhero film that looks amazing. What is it called? Black something? That new Marvel film where Rock is the lead. He like plays the villain. It looks fucking amazing. It looks like what superhero films are supposed to look like. Go give that your dollars. Go say this is what we want. But this whole like running and screaming and throwing up these memes and doing this AI stuff, all you're doing is packing up a box of ammo and saying, here you go. It doesn't matter why you did it. It doesn't matter about the perception. It's a kids film. It's a fucking kids film. Everybody, even me, who's giving us all this fucking energy is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I'm done. This video is way too long. I need to edit it down. You guys have a good day. Bye.